All right, so we have finished our pre-writing, and all of you brilliant, intelligent students have gone back and looked over everything just to make sure that it is top notch, and you are going to make an A+. So at this point, you are ready to move on. If you're in charge of the introduction and conclusion, there's another video that you need to be watching. If you are watching this particular video, it means you are in charge of one of the body sections. So when it becomes time for you to write your body sections, what you want to first make sure of is that everything is set up in your Google document to match what everybody else is doing. This way, when it's time to combine everything together, it goes really smooth and easily because everything is the same font size, same spacing, all that jazz. So up here where we have our list of fonts, we're going to make sure that it says Times New Roman, and we're going to put it on 12-point font. I know that you get that in a lot of classes. It's just one of those things that the MLA format said, hey, it would be really cool if everybody wrote in Times New Roman 12-point font. It's easy to read. It makes everything kind of look uniform. And truth be told, it's probably because some dead white guy said that's the way it needed to be done, and nobody has changed it. So from there, we're going to go to where it says Format, and we're going to make sure that our line spacing is set for double spacing. This ensures that your audience who's going to be reading your essay later on, there's spacing between the lines in such a way that it makes it easier to read, and also everything else should be double spaced, so when you start putting it with the other paragraphs, it's going to all be spaced out the same way. So you're going to take that pre-writing that you did, and you're going to look at just the body paragraph that you're working with. So we're going to just start with the first one. We've got our trait that, she is smart. Our examples are that she graduated from UNC, she has a master's degree, and then we've got this quote, she's a genius, Mr. Lohr, former co-worker, page 22. If we look back at our essay description, it's saying that we need to answer how the character is revealed at the beginning of the novel, what is their first trait, how do you know that's their trait, including examples, and a quotation, and then we need to explain how this trait affects the story, and explain why. So we are going to go back in here, and we can start very simple. We don't need to make really grandiose statements. We don't need to use a lot of big words. Remember that never use a $5 word when a 10-cent word will do. Don't use a big word you don't understand when you can use a simple word that you do understand and you can use it well. So the first thing that I've done is I've tabbed over to start my new paragraph, and I'm going to just start in the beginning of the novel. Miss McKay is shown to be quite intelligent. It says that she graduated from UNC and went on to get her master's. And then we're going to say that this is from, page 12 or whatever. Actually, we don't even put PG, we just put 12 because it's all coming from the same book. So we don't need to put that there. We just put the page number it is. One of her former co-workers even acknowledged her, I want to find a way to, her gifts by saying that she is a genius. Actually, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say one of her former co-workers, Mr. Lohr, because I'm quoting him, so I want to establish who is saying the quote, even acknowledged her gifts by saying that she is a genius. And if I look back at my pre-writing, I see that this came on page 22. So I'm just going to put 22 at the end. Because of her intellectual superiority, that's not how you spell that. How do we spell that? We're going to spell check. See, everybody's got their downfalls. I'm sure some of you are going to have to spell check too, and that's okay. Because of her intellectual superiority, she is able to get both into and out of trouble easily. She frequently uses her intelligence to make sure that she gets out of dangerous situations. This makes her a character to envy, as everyone wants to be able to do just that. So I've got my 2 examples. I've listed them both in the same sentence. You don't have to do that. You can split them up. I have got my quote in here. I have introduced who said the quote, and then I've made sure again to cite where in the novel that came from. And then I kind of go on to explain, why that's important to the novel. So I have made sure to explain what the trait is, explain how I know, and talk about how it affects the story. It affects the story because she uses her intelligence to get out of dangerous situations. And really that's it. I've already got the puzzle pieces here. It's just a matter of putting them together in a way that they flow and sound really great on paper. So it doesn't matter which of these body paragraphs that you're working with. You can just use that same little method and bada bing, bada boom, you're there. If you've got any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.